Okay, we will start our regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission. It is Thursday, October 17th, 2024. It is 10:04 a.m. If you would, please put your cell phones on silent or off. We will call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Our first order of business is public comment. Issues or concerns not on the regular agenda may be raised by the public at this time. Citizens should speak from the podium, address all comments to the DOS, and begin by stating their name and address or single-member district number. Please limit all remarks to less than 3 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, we do not have anyone here that signed up for
Okay.
general public comment.
All right, thank you. We will now move to our consent agenda. We have consideration of July 25th, 2024 Design and Historic Review Commission meeting minutes. We also have consideration of August 15th, 2024 Design and Historic Review Commission meeting minutes, and consideration of September 19th, 2024 Design and Historic Review Commission meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
I move that we approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. We will now move into our regular agenda. Our first case is CA 24-25, 1621 North Chadbourne Street, a request for a certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of the landmark National Register listed coach house at 1621 North Chadbourne Street, irreparably damaged by a falling tree.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Sherry Bailey, Principal Planner. This site should look familiar to you. A couple of months ago, you did have a zone change for this site to go to RM1. You did make that recommendation. In this particular case, if you remember, there was the large brick structure that had a number of apartments in the structure, and then associated with it was the carriage house, a smaller building. Both of those are listed on the state and local landmark designation, and both of them are also on the National Register. This is in District 4, Lucy Gonzalez's district. It's in the Reagan neighborhood. As I indicated, zoning was changed to RM1, and it's a historic landmark for the city and for the state. This is a picture of on the left is the carriage house as it was recently, and on the right is the present condition, and you can see that it has basically been destroyed. According to the applicant, it was hit by a tree, a large tree, and damaged beyond repair, and so they started taking it down. We informed them that it had to also come to DHRC for a demolition permit, and that is what they are requesting, is a demolition permit. The building on the left is another view of where the carriage house was located. It has been called in both the state and the National Register. One called it a coach house, the other called it a carriage house, but it is the same structure at the side. And that on the right is just another view of the debris that remains. And that's a close-up of the debris. The applicant is asking for a demolition permit. Staff is recommending approval of the demolition permit, subject to 3 conditions. If another structure is built on the site, whether it's a replacement structure for this or just another structure, all of the design, color, dimensions, and everything of that must come to the DHRC before a building permit can be granted. The second condition is the applicant shall obtain a required demolition permit, which is what they're requesting from the Building Permits and Inspection Department. And the third condition is any future renovation will require working with the DHRC. There is a theme there. We want them to understand that they have to come to DHRC before they do anything on the site. And with that, are there any questions?
I have a question. So since it's not in the DHRC zone, I mean, just because it's in the historical register, that's the reason we get involved with it?
That is
So
correct.
any building in San Angelo,
That
doesn't
has-
matter if it's in DHRC, or that's my, I didn't.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have actually quite a number that have individual designations, and all of them, if they're doing something to it, or if they are requesting a tax abatement, they have to come to DHRC.
There's not a picture of it when the first tree fell on it? I mean, was it
There
damaged
was-
that bad?
There was one in your packet, but the one that I did
I mean,
have
it's
on
beside
here.
the point now, but I just
Yeah.
can't imagine it did that much damage from a tree. That's where it could not have been repaired when the tree just fell on it. So, I mean, like I said, it's beside the fact now, so.
The applicant's representative is here, and I think that's a fair question to ask.
Okay, does anybody else have any questions for staff? Thank you, Sherry.
Okay. We have a new process for public comment on any item. People must sign in beforehand, and then we will be letting you know that the first person, and the only person that has signed in for this one is Blake Wilde.
Okay. Okay, we will open it up for public comment. If you would state your name, sir.
Good morning. As you said, my name is Blake Wilde. I'm with Wilde Engineering and Surveying here in San Angelo, representing the applicant. When the applicant kind of first started out, this is kind of his first kind of stab at doing some development part. So he's not really aware of all the procedures and everything has to go forth. And so, as it stated, he's trying to get this to fix it up into an apartment, whatnot, as the existing big structure is. I think it currently has 4 apartments in it. And we're just trying to help him go through the process to be able to, have this be something that works for the city. And like I say, he was out here working, tree fell on it from the storm or something like that. I don't know the exact details. I've tried to gather as much as I can and present that in a way that, looks good here. And so I'm just trying to get it done. Like I say, he's very unfamiliar with the processes, and especially he wasn't even aware of the historical significance and everything else. So we're just trying to make sure that we get all the boxes checked, everything's taken care of. I mean, does anybody have any specific questions for me?
No, not really. Anybody have any questions for?
Well, it looks like that's got to be the tree that's shown in the photograph. Is that
Right.
correct?
That's what I asked them to see. Do they have a picture of what it was before? And this is the only picture that they had before. No, they were never counting on it, a tree falling on it and destroying it, so they didn't go down and take pictures ahead of time. This just happened to be the only photo that they had showing it. And I was able to look on Google Earth and find, some other photos of it standing so that y'all could see it in that location there. So, and then just going out and visiting in present day and getting the pictures of it. Like I say, he's very unaware of the process, and he was just like, I don't know what to do with that. So it just kind of stayed there for a while until finally it's a checkbox that has to be done at this point. So that's where we're at.
Okay.
So,
Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir.
all right, thanks.
It is my understanding on this that, is there anybody else would like to speak? No, that's it? Okay. We will close public comment that we could actually make them build the structure back. Is that correct? I mean, or is that, I thought I read it in your notes.
Well, you could require that if they are going to build a structure, that structure replicate the carriage house, is my
Yeah.
understanding,
Okay.
under the agreements when it is listed.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chairman, in the ordinance, I think you could order that, but the logistics of actually enforcing that would be very time-consuming and costly.
Yeah, no,
I think the
it's-
better approach would be to enforce, like if they do rebuild, to make it consistent with what the prior structure was.
Yeah, okay, correct. Okay,
So, yeah, the applicant is looking at building a single-family residence adjacent to the larger house right now that would be facing Chadburn Street, and would be able to then go back and make, that new structure look like the one that's behind it, and maybe some sort of way incorporate other features to make it, work with everything. So that's what he's trying to do is, the coach house, unfortunately, it's just pretty much gone. But
Yeah.
they recognize that now at this point, but they're wanting to get this project going forward.
Yeah.
They know that they'll have to now come through and meet all the requirements here,
Mm-hmm.
making sure that we're staying with the correct colors, outside, exterior things, and that's what he'll do whenever he constructs that new structure, make sure it conforms with whatever requirements y'all require, and make that happen, so.
okay, thank you. Yeah, we'll put that in our request. Any other questions? Okay, any comment? Someone would like to make a motion? I think we're beyond the point of, there's no way to put it back, but I feel like we do need to make sure they understand when they do build something new that it has to meet all of the requirements of our board. Okay?
I mean, that's a relatively healthy look at the pond. I have a hard time seeing that thing. It would have had to fall over basically get pulled up from the roots and fall in the building in order to,
Yeah, that's what
Because
I'm saying too. That's why I'd like to have seen the picture when
Yeah.
it fell on it, but like I
It is-
said,
yes.
it's beyond
Yeah.
that right now, so. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve the demolition as requested.
Okay, with the stipulations from the staff?
Yes, to meet
Requirements.
all stipulations stated
Okay.
by the staff.
Gonna get a second? We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we will move on to our next case. RC 24-19, 501 North Bryant Boulevard. A request for approval of replacement signage and one new sign, a 7.8 square foot directional sign at the Hyundai Auto Center, 501 North Bryant Boulevard.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This should also look very familiar to you. Earlier this year, the remodeling and the change of the look and the colors of the Hyundai site came before you. We went through a number of different design ideas and looks, and you all agreed to a color scheme for the site, and definitely the paint scheme, and with the understanding that we knew they were going to come back with the signage once the remodeling had been done and the enlarging of the service area had occurred. This is in District 3, Mr. Thomas's district. It's in the downtown neighborhood. The zoning is general commercial, heavy commercial, and it's in the River Corridor Overlay District. This is a layout of where the existing signs are and where the new sign is going to go. And normally we would have considered, since it's a coverage or a replacement, and you'd already agreed to the paint or the signage color that would be used, we would have looked at it from an administrative standpoint. But because in this case there is a placement on an existing pylon that is close on that corner, and there is the one new sign which will is also a placement, I wanted to make sure that we brought that before you so you could see what the distance is going to be and what where it's going to be situated, what it's going to look like. So we have all of here's the existing pylon that will be covered. These are the new signs that will be placed on the building with the same coloring scheme. And then this is the directional sign. Over here is the new sign that is going to direct people where to come in to go to the service area. And so that one has a new setback also. And this is the setback for that directional sign. It's going to be 21 feet from the curb line, which makes it actually about 20 feet from the property line. It should not be in any site, triangle should not be an issue, but I wanted to make sure that you had a chance to look at where it's going to be situated. And it will be covered with using the brown, I believe it's called antler. The light brown will be the covering, the basic color on that. And it's the same, this should look familiar to you because this was the overall building remodeling that you had approved. It'll have that same brown antler look to the background, and then it'll have kind of the pewter looking signs that will be on the building itself. And then this is the large, it's 30 foot. The existing sign, Hyundai sign, is 30 feet tall. It's 10 foot wide. It will be covered in the same antler brown look. It will be about 36 feet from the curb line. That goes to 30 feet, if you will, then 17 feet from the property line. It is the existing sign that is there, so they're not enlarging it in any way. They are simply changing the sign design and the color. And so staff is recommending approval of the case RC 2419 for all the proposed signage, subject to the following 3 conditions of approval. The colors, dimensions, and materials shall be consistent with the renderings that you had approved originally and with these new renderings that they've submitted, and that with the understanding that if there are very minor deviations, that can be approved by the Planning Development Services Director. The second one, that the applicant shall ensure that all lighting does not spill over onto adjacent properties and that dimmers may be installed if necessary. And 3, that the applicant shall obtain building permits as required for permits and inspections division. And with that, are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions? Nope. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let me go back real quick. And we do have 3 people that have signed up. I'm not sure that all 3 of them want to address you, but the first one on there is Kristen Ruff.
Okay.
She said, okay.
Oh, okay.
No. She's okay.
Okay.
All right. So
That's it?
it's up to you guys.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll open it up for discussion. Anybody have any questions? I think it looks good. I like the sign better than the other one. Since it's all the same size, it's really, I don't see any relevance in it.
Yeah, they address the lighting. That was something I was thinking of, but
And can I get a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the signage for RC 24-19 as staff has suggested.
Okay. Can I get,
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Okay, we'll move on to our next case. DD 24-14, 435 West Beauregard, a request for the replacement of a wood gazebo on an existing concrete slab in front of the side entrance to the Johnson's Funeral Home at 435 West Beauregard for a family gathering area.
Limeberry, planner. This is 435 West Beauregard. It's the funeral home, and it is in District 3, Harry Thomas, the downtown neighborhood. It is CBD zoning, and the overlay is just downtown, not historic. They had started putting it up, and we had stopped them. They didn't realize they needed approval. So it's already been purchased, and like I said, it's almost there. It's just the roof that they have left. I tried to take a picture of a lot of the building because, jump ahead and then I'll go back. Staff is recommending, one of the conditions is that the gazebo kind of matches the building style and house, not house, but the building. The white, the columns, the colonial type style. Now I'm going to go back. If you kind of see, yeah, the front of the building there, right there, and then all along the side there, it's got the columns and the nice colonial white style, and it kind of sticks out. And so one of the the conditions, I don't know how to remove that apparently. Oh, there we go. So staff is recommending approval, but with the condition that they make it look a little bit more like their building, either painting it or trying to make it look a little bit more colonial. This is the picture that comes with what they purchased. They do not plan on having furniture just yet. That may be something in the future, but at the moment it's just a covered place for the family members to go stand under if they need a few minutes. But it is that style roof and that color roof. So again, staff is recommending approval with the 3 conditions: that the colors, dimensions, and materials are consistent with what is approved here today, and that the applicant obtains any building permits if required, and then the gazebo must match the building style and color.
Are they going to put lights in it? Are they going to have those patio lights like that?
She did not mention any. When I called and asked about the furniture, she did not mention any lights or furniture or anything like that.
And
Just to
that's the
post-
color of the roof it's going to be?
Yes,
A
it
dark
is.
brown.
It is a brown color,
Okay.
and it's a steel roof.
And so this is not part of the historic overlay or the Chadburn Street overlay. This
No.
is just
Downtown.
downtown overlay.
Yeah, and I really wish I could have gotten a picture. I have it on my phone. Not that I could show you online, but back in here, the neighbors behind them have 2 gazebos up for their pool, and they're white, and they have the columns.
Yeah, I've
they
noticed
kind of
those.
matched
Mhm.
the building.
Okay.
So
Anybody have any other questions?
When you talked to the applicant, were they receptive to painting or anything like that when you told her what the staff recommendation was going to be?
I didn't get to actually talk to her about that portion. I asked if they had any plan to paint it or make it look more like the building, and she said no. And before the meeting, I emailed the report to her, and I called, and I have not gotten a chance to speak to her.
Because I saw them, my office is around the corner from this, and I saw them working on all the landscape and then started the structure. But I didn't see any electrical ran out there, so I doubt
Maybe
that they'll
they're
have
not,
any
yeah.
lights. And I didn't see any electrical receptacles, so I think it's just the structure. Plus, most funerals don't occur during the evening time, so just
true.
daylight would be enough, but
So it's set in its spot, that's where
Yes,
it's gonna
yeah,
be.
that's, and it was an existing concrete pad. They didn't create the spot brand new.
Any other questions? Okay,
You know
thank you. Is there any, oh, go ahead.
You know, the kind of wood that
It's cedar.
It's cedar.
Yeah, it's cedar, like
Cedar
red
wood.
cedar, western red cedar. So it could be painted.
Is there anybody that's registered for the public comment on this?
No. Okay,
So if it's part of just the downtown overlay, what are kind of our charges on that versus the historic overlay?
So there's not a specific white or specific color they have to use. It is whatever you guys approve or they want to use. There's not like a color palette. Because it's in the downtown area, you guys can require it to have a certain look. But it is not historic, so they don't have to use historical material, paint colors, that type of thing.
Okay.
Question.
okay, any other questions? Okay. Thank you. We will open up to the board. I tend to agree. I think it'd look better if it was painted white, so it matches everything, because everything else is real clean, consistent. I mean, the structure doesn't bother me at all. I think it looks good. It matches what's there. But I think it would personally look better if it was white. I think it would blend in better. That's my thoughts. Yeah, you could paint it. Oh, yeah, you can paint it. You know, the roof, what's the roof on the original building? Is it just kind of gray, isn't it?
Looks like a shingle.
Is that slate? I can't tell what it is. Like on the, yeah, on the main, so you can kind of see it over on the right.
Let me zoom in a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, I think the brown is close enough to that.
I think the roof would, the gazebo patio would kind of blend in with the brick. I
Yeah,
think.
with the
I
red.
mean, the only other thing where you could make
That
it
metal.
match better would be to do the bases on it, where it would match the other columns on the building. I
Or
mean,
that metal
that's-
railing too, I don't know if it's black or
It's
if
black.
that roof is
Yeah,
black,
it's
like maybe it,
black.
could
Yeah.
accent that.
But I tend to agree with staff. I think it would look better if it was white and blend in.
Is this a kit that comes
It's a
with
kit.
the roof
It's a
already?
kit.
Yeah.
I've seen those before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So-
a change to a black roof would not be possible at this point?
Well, they'd have to buy new roofing because it comes in a kit, but I don't think that's a big issue. I think the painting would make a huge difference myself. I think it would look better. Any other comments?
What about lighting? I mean, is there any,
So,
does it matter later down the
Yeah,
road?
Since they didn't ask for any or mention any,
Yeah.
yeah.
okay. Yeah, because can we put it in the recommendation that if they do lighting, that not do the cafe lights like that? I mean, I don't think that's appropriate for that area. If they had something, they might want to put something up under it, but I would like that be put in there, that not to be the cafe lights that was shown on that.
I can
Plan.
update that first condition to include if any lighting, it will require board approval.
Yes, I would like that. Okay, somebody like to make a motion?
I move that we request that it be painted white, the structure, and if any lighting is added, for it to come back to this board. Otherwise, to approve as presented.
Okay, can I get a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Okay, we will move on to announcements. The next regular meeting of the Design and Historic Review Commission is scheduled to begin on Thursday, November 21st, 2024, at 10 a.m. in the East Mezzanine Meeting Room in City Hall at 72 West College Avenue. Is there-
We have a couple announcements we'd like to
Okay.
give, okay? This is my last meeting. I'm going to try retiring again, so the end of the month will be my termination date from the city. So, because
Well,
of
we're sad to
that,
hear that.
well, thank you. Because of that, Ray's got another announcement.
So Erin wanted to make sure I introduced, we have a new Planning and Development Services Administrator, Kim Garmany. She is not here. They're at the APA conference today, both her and Erin. But she has already started and she's working with Sherry. She will take over DHRC until we can fill her position. So she will be your point of contact. But again, if you ever need anything, you can also contact me. But we do have somebody new that will be taking over for a while until we can fill Sherry's position, which will be very hard. We will miss her.
Okay.
Kim, I think you'll really like her, and she's really excited about working with DHRC. She has been the director of some nonprofit organizations and dealing with housing and affordable housing, and she has a strong background of downtown development and working with people from a volunteer standpoint on historic preservation. So she's real excited to work with you. I think you'll enjoy her.
Okay. Well, Sherry, I'd like to speak for the board. We appreciate everything you've done for us. You've been real professional, and it was great working with you, and we're going to miss you. So good luck on your new venture.
Thank you.
And so with that, call for adjournment.
So moved.
Okay. Thank you.